Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Hope you're well. Kick this off with a hearty, happy Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving week, and I hope that you are ready for dinner with your family or however you choose to celebrate. We have our family coming in, and so those of you that follow the channel know that we lost a matriarch in the family. My mother-in-law passed away in September, and so she will not be at the table with us, but in spirit she will be, and so we'll be doing our best to honor her and include her and keep her as part of our family dynamic. And so I'm sure there may be plenty of you out there who might have a loved one that is not going to be with you this year, and so my heart goes out to you. But that's not what this show's about. I thought I'd just share that because I know it's Thanksgiving week. And my name is Paul. If you don't know who I am, and remember you're just tuning in and you say, I'm just thought I'd pop in here for a minute. My name is Paul. I'll be your DM for a little while. And I have been a dungeon master for a little over 20 years, as well as a therapeutic game master, a professional dungeon master, and now YouTuber, clearly. So tonight, I'm going to be sharing with you the update. We had our Shadow Dark game last night, and so I'm going to be breaking down just a little bit of the game that we had last night. We had a great game last night. Lots of things happened, lots of things that were going on. And so I'm excited to share those things with you. I got my little handy dandy notebook that I'll be sharing because sometimes when you see me on the show, by the way, if you've not watched the show, if you don't know anything about our Shadow Dark live play that we have, it's every Monday night, 6 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And you can check it out. I'll put a playlist down below. You can check out all the episodes that we have. I think this was our 9th week of Shadow Dark. That's a pretty good run. And so I don't know if this is it a campaign? Kind of, I guess. I think it's more of a just kind of an open sandbox where every week we'd show up and see what happens. There's no there are always little hooks that are going around and things of that nature. So so we grab onto whatever our DM Tim puts out there, and he casts out there. We're gobbling it up, right? So tonight I'm going to share, like I said, a little bit about the game. New background. Tell me what you think about that. I am thinking about ditching the. Usually I'll have this 1-minute roll in, which gives people time to kind of get in and be notified and all that kind of stuff about the show. And I think I'm going to put that away. It was fun to create. It's not always fun, I know, especially for viewers, to always have some 1-minute roll in, and it's fine. But you know what? You got to change, right? You got to keep going and roll with it and go from there. So let's go ahead and start off with the. We started off. It's just city encounters is what we had. And it was the title of what Tim gave us. And in this particular game, we started off in the city, and we're walking through the city, and Taryn, who is my character, Taryn is Taryn Doomsinger. And Taryn Doomsinger is a barbarian, and he is very vocal and I like the way Joe describes it. He says Taryn's the kind of character. He sees part Irish because he walks in. He says, "Look, is this a private fight or can anyone join?" And I think that's Taryn's idea, is that he is just always down just for whatever's going on. And the causes he picks up are completely random. If Tim throws something out there that Taryn says, "Oh, I think I'm going to get involved in that," he'll just go ahead and get involved in that. And that we'll go into a little bit later in of character growth that Taryn is going through. But the first part of Taryn's growth here is the fact that he sees the Priest of Sareth. And the Priest of Sareth, that's been this festival that we've been a part of during this time. And they have these hollow, what do you call them? These hollow men where people would drop their offerings inside. I think, if you think of the Wicker Man, right? I think of these hollow straw structures that you're dropping offerings into. And Tim happens to mention a man who is rejected. His offering is rejected at the Hollow Man for whatever reason. And so, of course, Taryn doesn't like that. He doesn't like this for whatever reason. Taryn doesn't know sometimes why Taryn does what he does. He just sees something and goes, yeah, I think I'm going to get involved in that for some odd reason. For some dumb reason, he's going to get involved in that. And I see Mac is, that's what he did. But you're going to, as you see, he may be rethinking his ways. We'll see. And Vance, of course, agreeing with him. Thank you, Vance. So I start off with, I don't like that. And so I'm going to question this guard. And I've been able to intimidate pretty much everybody. I mean, I've had a good run of intimidation, right? The dice have decided that. And so because I rolled well, I went ahead and I was able to intimidate pretty well. And so I would try to intimidate this, but now you have, and Tim is telling me this. He's telling me there are other priests and guards that are around that as part of this offering time. And so Taryn is not a self-aware character. I think this may be the first time he has become self-aware of his actions. And so he says to the priest doing the things, he says, this man's offering is good. He's fine. And he's like, no, it's not. And so I go ahead and I give the man. This is a player fault here. The player, my fault was I probably did not ask enough questions as a player to distinguish what I was doing. Because had I done that, I would have found out that this man was a cheapskate. He was just cheap. He just wasn't giving the offering that he was supposed to give or that he should give. And so me, like a dummy, the assumption, right, that me as a player and even as playing Taryn, making assumptions that the priest was wrong and that the person giving the offering was right, which led to then me finding out that he was a cheapskate. I gave him money and found out that I asked him why he couldn't give. I thought he was going to say that, well, he was broke or he was poor or, he was, whatever. He had very little means or whatever. Come to find out, he just didn't want to give. And so I just punched him right in the face for wasting my time because Taryn was about to make some very bad choices, as Taryn does. And, but the way Tim described the scenario, because Taryn, and this is probably the first time he's ever done this, he went and apologized to one of the priests there because he had made an assumption. He said, "Oh, this guy is a terrible person. Yeah, you should probably, beat the crap out of him or whatever." But yeah, I punched the guy in the face because he almost got Taryn into a situation that he didn't need to be into, right? And this is where Taryn he might not, probably should mind his own business. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Vance, what do you think? Mac, what do you think? Is Taryn going to mind his own business? Maybe not. We don't really know. It's out, right? So, from that, we go to Blaga and Columbo. And Blaga has just recently gotten over being possessed by a bow, which was a lot of fun to watch him struggle with that. And now they're dealing with these dwarves. And I don't know if I completely understand it, other than the fact that these dwarves kind of have it out for Columbo for some reason. And maybe there's something in the past. Vance says probably not about Taryn on his own, but probably not. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we see character growth here. Max says, yeah, yeah, and then, just to find, that's me. Taryn is a fine, upstanding citizen. So, Blaga and Columbo are now dealing with Godfrey. They go to see Godfrey, and Godfrey is kind of our fixer. He's kind of our guy. He's our connector to the Adventurers Guild, to to the city, really, and getting us a place to live and all the things, showing us where to eat, and those kind of things. And it was kind of cool to listen to this part of the scenario. And I think it's, one thing as a player, I like listening into other people's stories. I like listening in to how somebody's character is developing, or listening. I'm in the story, but I'm also listening to how people are playing their characters. I'm listening to how Tim is interacting. I'm listening to the story. And so this to me was kind of a really touching, maybe that's not the right word, but very realistic, that there's this man, Godfrey, whose wife, the reason we went off to go and fight the card master and find him is because we thought that he had captured and sent the fog. If you go back and watch the episodes, there's this fog that invades the city. It captures people into these cards. And we said, well, surely the card master has done this. And what we found out was that it was not the card master. It was not him per se. He was taking advantage of a moment. He was taking advantage of the fact that fog was filling the city from another source that we don't have any idea what that is. So he was taking advantage, and he was capturing the fog, so to speak, into his cards. And so that's a whole other thing. That was kind of a shocking moment, because as they're explaining to Godfrey, who is immensely sad because his wife is gone. And so we have these missing people. That's kind of this unresolved, I think both as a player and Taryn as a character are like, that wasn't the thing. It was like, well, what is happening then? It's like this kind of, we don't really know what's going on, which I think is a good thing, right? It's a good thing that there's mystery to this, that we thought we were wrapping something up, and really that may be the beginning of the tale. That may be the beginning of that. But I thought that was kind of a realistic moment, if you will, with Blaga and Columbo and Godfrey having this moment where, hey, my wife's still missing, and we, have not solved anything. We are heroes who have not solved anything yet. We thought right, because that's what heroes do. We go out, we slay, we get gold, we do the thing. And in this case, there's no resolution, which I think a lot of people like resolution, and I'm a fan of resolution, but I am open to the fact that, listen, not everything gets resolved. Not everything is taken care of in a session, right? There are lingering things. There are threads that are still out there to be pulled. And I think that's kind of a cool aspect of it, although mind-boggling too. You're like, oh, well, where's this thing going to go then? Wow, you're right. Even as Taryn and Columbo and Blaga and Draymond are trying to figure out, well, if that's not it, well, then what's the case, right? So, later on, they go to the Adventurers Guild. They're Columbo is hiding his little stubby coins that he got that are part of his ancient history of dwarves, and so these are super valuable coins. He puts them in these concrete safety deposit box and so forth. And that's what these dwarves. He's having these issues with these dwarves, and he himself knocked somebody out. I would say, so listen, Taryn is not the only one that has anger issues here, okay? Let's address the fact that Columbo knocked a dwarf out, okay? Can we not do that? Taryn's not the only person. Let's not focus on Taryn. Columbo knocking people out, okay? And so then we go to the fact we go into where Taryn says, okay, now he's going to the pit. He goes by the fighter pit, and this is where he thinks, man, this is where I'm going to shine. This is where I'm going to go, and man, I need to work off some energy here. Max says cliffhangers with a flat climax are awesome. Yeah, I would agree. Right? I think there's that. I think who probably did that pretty well is like the X-Files would do a lot of that, right? Where something was kind of went unresolved, and yet it was a cliffhanger, and you didn't know where that was going to go, and maybe that would show up in a later episode, something like that. So you had that kind of thing. So Taryn says, well, I'm going to go, and Blaga goes too. Now Blaga made some money off of Taryn, and this is where Taryn. This is the second part of Taryn's character growth, I would say, and I'm going to do a whole video on this. By the way, these are just initial thoughts about what I'm thinking about as I play Taryn, because he's my second character I'm playing in Shadowdark. My first one, Eleanor, had her own thing. You can go back and watch some of the recaps that I've done there and talked about her. I did manage. I fought my first fight in the arena, which Tim, I think, really did a good job of. I don't know how much he had prepared and how much he did on the fly, but it was I could visually see it was very fleshed out. Very fleshed out. And so I could get a real feel of where I was and understood kind of what was going on. And so I fought my first fight, and these are random rolls. So Tim is rolling randomly. My first guy that I get is a rookie, basically. Looks like he's pretty fresh. He's got 2 daggers. And so Burhead Jones, who's kind of like I would say the ring manager, is there to kind of welcome new fighters and so forth. So he Burhead Jones, who's a wrestler that used to wrestle back in the day in WWE or WWF at the time, and so anyway, Burhead Jones is telling me, hey, take it easy on the kid and so forth, and I do, and wound up knocking the kid out. And it was great. And like, I am like, so Taryn is pumped up. He's like, yes. I was going to go into have the people start shouting doom. I wasn't there yet. They were shouting Ed is dead, which was the character's name, Ed. And I think I said, Ed rhymes with dead. And so that took off in the arena, and that was a lot of fun. And then the second match he rolled up, and this is a character he said that he had in reserve, called Annie, and we are calling her, at least for this, was Arcane Annie, and so once again, this is Taryn thinking, okay, he is full of himself. He's just beat this kid, and now he's got this in Taryn's mind, this young lady, and he's going to take it easy on her. So he decides, well, I'm going to go in. I think I went in barehanded. I think I put my axe down, and I think I was just going to do whatever. And then I wound up. She had this thing that Tim has that was used. And once again, this goes back to not asking enough questions. This is not Tim's fault or anybody else. This is my fault as a player. I didn't ask questions. I played my character, and I just kind of went all in on it, and I didn't ask enough questions. Had I asked enough questions, I would have found out that Arcane Annie was arcane and used magic. The fact that she did not have a weapon should have been a clue, but Taryn, me, did not ask enough questions. Had I figured that out, I would have maybe come up with a different idea or a different way to approach it. I already have issues. Taryn already has issues with mages. Not a big fan. But here's where and to resolve this part, Arcane Annie just beats the tar out of Taryn. And she's got this thing, this spell that you saw earlier in one of our fights with the small kids. We were fighting small kids. These little mage kids, where if you hit them, it's only one time I believe they can do it, where you hit them and it reverberates damage back to you. So now Taryn is hit with this, and he is shocked. He's like, what is going on here? And he has beat the tar. Yes, little Arcane Annie. That's right. And I want to say, that like that Michael Jackson song, Annie, are you okay? Are you Arcane Annie? Are you arcane? So in the first match, I'll say this, that at least Taryn wound up winning 84 silver pieces, I think. And Blaga won some money. Good for him. And so I wound up, once again, getting knocked out, basically. And there I am. And then Annie comes back to wherever the infirmary is, and then pats my leg and says, "Are you okay, buddy?" Wow, that was just insult to injury. Other than the fact that Joe the lawyer was just roasting me on several things about about glasses of wine and just getting my rear end kicked, which is fine. It's fine. This is the kind of game we play here. Vance, you know what? She will become a recurring nemesis, but I will predict this, that she could be a recurring ally in some way. Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. That maybe she's not bad that we know of, or evil. So, as part of Taryn's growth as a character, he has to figure out now he has to figure out his relationship to magic that he's not liked thus far. And he is wondering now whether you have to use magic to fight magic. And maybe that's why he was interested in kind of the magic armor. There was a whole scenario where we were talking about armor. So if you love shows, by the way, that love the minutia of shopping, as Joe the lawyer does, and his character Columbo, this is your show. you wanna watch. Yeah, just aiming for the sympathy play. Maybe. She becomes, to me, like I said, in Taryn's mind, if somebody like that can beat him, then that's somebody maybe he wants as an ally. Maybe, right? Maybe seeking her out for an adventure and saying, hey, maybe we should invite this Arcane Annie to be with us somehow. Because I think she's a cool character. The way Tim played her, the way she came back to the thing and was kind of like a little condescending, it's exactly what Taryn needed for this growth, this pivotal moment, like they do in the movies where a character suddenly discovers something about themselves and then they have to go on this journey to become better or whatever it is they have to do. Taryn might be there. I mean, he's not going to be perfect, but I'm sensing a turn here that what he has to do is he's going to have to figure out how to make allies, how to treat people not as always people to be pushed around or to be dominated, but somehow to what is in his best interest. Just like in the beginning when he read the room and said, "Oh, there's too many guys here. I'll have to deal with that. I can't fight all these guys by myself," which would be a stupid move from both a player move and a character move. So, right? So I think there's player growth and there's character growth in both, and how I'm playing Taryn and how Taryn is going to do what he's going to do. And then the last little part of this, I will show you that Columbo finds himself in another world, speaking with Ostin, the god. I want to say the god of evil dwarves. I need better notes on this. Maybe Vance and his blog will help me out here. But basically, he goes into another world again, and he is fighting a creature called a Shorn. I will show this to you. Let's see. Yeah, this thing right here. This is a crazy, I don't know where Tim found this, but it's a crazy looking creature. And it is half leopard, half serpent. Head of a serpent and the body of a leopard, which is really, really cool. That's a scary looking thing. And once again, when you sit back and listen to other people's stories and listen to their journey and listen to what their character's story arc and things, man, you find out all kinds of cool things. This creature is really, really cool. It does some cool things, but I think what we found out was that in this world, Columbo is trying to figure out his connection with that ring and Ostin and his relationship. And so basically he's getting, I think, if I'm correct, Vance, is that this is going to be his future steed that he can summon somehow, maybe. Not entirely sure how that works or how that's going to work, but that'll be cool. The minute it shows up and Columbo the dwarf is riding this creature, that's cool. Good for him. Right on. Right? And I think that's important too. As a player, your every session, your character or those because the dice decide, right? You go in with highest expectations that you're going to have, some epic thing happen, and everything that happened to my character was exactly what needed to happen. The dice decided for him, and so I think, you have to learn to enjoy other people's victories, right? Enjoy other people's. That's just a DM tip, right? If you're a player, enjoy. You may not be having the best game of your, you may not be getting your characters getting trashed by Arcane Annie. You have to be able to say, you know, you have to be able to say, look, they're having a great time. Have a great time because they're having a great time, right? Don't, sulk about the fact that your character didn't, beat everybody up in the arena or you didn't do whatever. It's cool. Somebody else is having a great time. Enjoy their great time with them, for them. They're having a great game in the sense of their story arc or discovering something new or getting a new steed. So what if you didn't get the magic item in this game? So what if you're not the one who did not land the killing blow? It's okay. There are other sessions. There's other times and places. Everything can't be about you. You have to learn to enjoy something together, right? That's part of the collective storytelling that we all sign up for when we play an RPG. And Max says, yeah, that is terrifying. Got to be held to fight with that reach of a neck and face. Yeah, initially it was. And because Columbo is getting a little bit up there in level, I think he's 5th level, pushing 6th level at some point. He is, he's got quite a bit of hit points and things like that. So he was able to deal with it well enough to where the creature bowed to him. And basically he, like I would say, taming a Mustang, right? Breaking a horse. And he kind of broke it to where it bowed before him. And that's maybe why it becomes his steed. Vance says, I'm not sure, or perhaps Dreamworld Steed Companion. Yeah. But how does that, I guess the question is, how would that play in, is he going to be going to the Dream World often enough to ride the steed? Is that where it is? Like, hey, I'm just going to park my steed there. And anytime you want to go to the Dream World, hey, I'm going to jump on my steed. I think it would be cool if it jumped out of the Dream World and into the real world. I think that would be fun. And then of course that adds an extra ally for us, because hopefully the thing fights for us when it needs to. But a couple of things. I'm going to wrap up here. A couple of things that Tim did, and if you didn't see this, he created a Doomsinger character, a class, basically. And let me bring that up here. And in this Doomsinger, I'll kind of read it to you here. And this is to me, it's such an honor. It's to have to play a character in the way I've played my character, to inspire a DM to create a class around it. Pretty cool, right? It says, born in the barbaric tribes of the Arodrak Plains. I wanted to say the Arondak, the Arodrak Plains. Doomsingers embrace the inevitable end of everyone and everything. And I think there's a lot being said in there. They embrace the inevitable and everyone and everything, including themselves. I think that's an important part of building character. Weapons, any melee weapons. Armor, all armor and shields. Hit points, 1d8 per level. Bring on the Doom, which it says gain an advantage on damage. So this is where Tim got some pushback, because he said it was overpowered. A lot of people where he shared it said it was overpowered. I'm going, I don't think so at all. Not because that's my character. I think objectively, I don't think that's overpowered. I think it's a great ability. If you look at across the board other character abilities, I think it keeps in line with a lot of other powers and abilities that other characters, other classes have in Shadowdark. And it says, bring on the Doom, gain advantage on damage rolls equal to half your level round down times per session. So if I am at level 4, hopefully I'll be at level 4. So I will get advantage 2 times on damage rolls. Right, that's what 2 times. Two times a game at this point. If I'm at 4th level, I'll get 2. Right now I think I'm just at 1, and I didn't even use that. This is what makes me so angry. I need to figure out. I can't remember anything. I can't remember luck. I could have used luck in the battle. Didn't use luck. Could have used this. Didn't use that. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's frustrating that I can't remember anything. I can't remember anything. All right, so goes on grit. Choose strength or dexterity. You have advantage on checks of that type to overcome an opposing force, such as kicking open a stuck door, strength, or slipping free of rusty chains, dexterity. So I can have advantage on one of those things, which I think is, I want to say that's part of a fighter's. One of the things you get as a fighter you can roll, or it's already built in. Maybe because that's just part of that. Weapon mastery. Choose one type of weapon, such as long swords. You gain +1 to attack and damage with that weapon type. In addition, add half your level to these rolls, round down. So +1 to attack and damage. So I'll get +1. So I'm at +2 right now for everything, and +2 to damage, I guess. And then my Doomsinger talents. And I think this is I want to say it's based on the fighter. I didn't go into it with Tim of all the effects. But the effects are add 1 die to damage equal to weapon die, which I think is cool. So in other words, it would go add 1 die. So in other words, if I'm at a D10, I would go to a D12 and so forth. 3 to 6 is +1 to hit and damage on melee attacks. 7 to 9 is +2 to strength, dexterity, constitution stat. Choose one kind of 10 to 11 is choose one kind of armor to gain, +1 armor class from that armor. Choose a talent or +2 points to distribute to stats. So, and then he had sent it to me. Originally, he had sent it to me, and I think the guy's name was Reardon or something like that. I said, well, the only thing wrong with that, Tim, is that you should be quoting Terran, since he is the original Doomsinger, right? There's nothing more dangerous in this world than facing someone with nothing to lose. And I think that's perfect for Terran. I think that's a great quote as how he lives his life. But you tell me, those of you that are watching and those that will watch later, leave me some notes down in the comment, leave me some comments down below, whether you think that's overpowered or not, or whether you think it's, fair. Let's see. Let's go to the chat here real quick. Let's see. Max says, I gotta get rid of that. Let's get rid of that real quick. Let's go to this, get rid of that. And now we can look at that. Oh, nice. Okay. Van says, with an appropriate 80s glam medals. I agree with that. Got to have a glam medal thing. Motley, Rat, or Faster Pussycat? I would say Motley Crue. I would say Motley Crue's. No, I don't want to do Smoking in the Boys' Room. No. Kickstart My Heart. That might be the deal. I think that might be the deal. I think you'd have to go with that. That would be my choice anyway. And then Advance. Rock on. So yeah, that is all that has gone on. That went in our last session. And once again, the character development, I'm going to do a whole video on this about player versus character growth, and having your each of those dealing with these epiphany moments of whether it's loss or whether it's discovering that the world you are playing in is really difficult. Shadow Dark is difficult all by itself. You're playing in Tim's world. Tim's world has these rules. There are rules there. He has thought this out. There are rules here. You will suffer the wrath of bad choices in this game, which I do love. That's the limitations. The love of limitations I have is because you're just not going to go around and just do whatever you want to do. You're playing in a real world with real consequences should you choose to fight with them, right? And then, so I'll do a whole video on that. I will share with you, if you are interested in all I am working on coming up. I am working on my hex crawl. The Corrupt Dead. If you have not watched any of my other videos on this, I've started doing a world building series on building out my hex crawl. I'm having fun with that. I'm loading it up. I think I made my first map of a city that is going to be used in the next issue, as well as just coming up with some ideas for this new kind of undead that has been corrupted. The ley lines have been corrupted, and it has corrupted death itself, especially those put into the grave and those that are actually dying. So if you're interested in that, that'll be out soon. But I also want to pitch real quick that if you've not seen those, I have other zines as well. I have the actual Hex Crawl of Horror, which kind of lays down how I'm building it, how I've built it, how you can build it for yourself. It has 2D6, I think, 2D6 tables you can build with in there. And then I kind of start branching out on the various factions that will be in that Hex Crawl of Horror. The first being the Witches of the Blackened Earth, and then my next will be the Corrupt Dead. So if any of those interest you at all, they will be down in the show notes there. And I want to thank you guys for showing up for a little while and just allowing me to share my thoughts on our Shadow Dark game and about role-playing and about playing a character, just sharing a few DM tips. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. And once again, if you have not hit the thumbs up button yet, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button that tells me you like the video and you want more videos like this. And if you're not a subscriber yet, well, I would love if you hit the subscribe button and became a subscriber of the channel, because I make videos fairly regularly, at least once a week. I'll bring something to you that hopefully will be of interest. We'll challenge you so that you can play epic games at your table, because that's what I want to help you do, okay? As a new DM especially, I want to help you run epic games so you can live these crazy adventures that myself and Blaga, Vance, and Columbo, Joe the Lawyer, and Ken as Draymond, and we're having a blast on Monday nights. Come join us over there. Links to all that will be down below. Thanks again for joining, guys, and I will hopefully catch you guys in the next video. You guys have an excellent Thanksgiving, okay? You guys eat a lot of turkey, gobble gobble, all the things, man, and save me some sweet potato pie. All right, that's it for tonight. See you guys later. Have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye.